BK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And finally, we are here with free agency, ladies and gentlemen. And who knows what it is that the New York Knicks are going to do, but we're going to do something. There's already rumors out there about supposed deals that are in place with the New York Knicks and players. We're going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We already got a panel here. And I'm going to get to this panel right now. You see we got Tony Crow. We got Josh in the building. We got Big Bubba, unfortunately, in the building. But we're going to go ahead and get this thing on and popping. And you can see to the left of me, the right of me, whatever it is on your screen, we got Woj bombs. So you can follow Woj bombs as they are bombed. And I'll be switching back and forth from Shams and Stein. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about it. And we got a triple header for you today, ladies and gentlemen. A triple header. Actually, a quadruple header. All right, because right after I'm done, about 7 o'clock, Tony Crow's going to be on with Knicks and Bruises, and you'll be able to, it's going to take you right to Knicks and Bruises. Right from here, it's going to take you to Knicks and Bruises. And then after Knicks and Bruises, the Queen's Court is going to be on, and it's going to take you right to the Queen's Court. And then after the Queen's Court, I'll be back later on, and I'll be participating in those shows in and out. But I'll be back later on with a wrap-up for the day 1 of free agency. It's going to be super dope, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get these guys in and, see what we're thinking about free agency already. Tony Crow, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Salute. What's going on, Sim? What's up, fellas? Shout out to the chat. No Black is time.
Yes, sir. Josh, what's up, man?
Salute. What's going on, everyone? Salute the Knicks Nation. Today is a big day. Big day for the franchise. And hopefully this can be the start of something big, something, we built it last year, started the foundation last year, but we just got to keep building on that foundation and begins today in free agency.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Big Bubba?
Yo.
What's going on with you,
I swear to God.
What's going on with you, bro?
I swear to God, that better stop being my team thing. Michael, you was doing it at the draft party, and you was doing it before that. Sim?
I didn't do anything.
Stop playing with me.
I didn't do anything. You see my hands right here.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all know who it is. I'm back. I was requested by popular demand since the draft party. I had to show my pretty face.
Right.
But yeah, man, I am really excited. There's a lot of news already going on, and yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get it done.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the most obvious news that's out there about the New York Knicks, and that's Evan Fournier, first reported by KFTV, signing to the New York Knicks. Well, I don't want to say signing, that the deal is close, that he'll sign to the New York Knicks for 3 years, $18 million a year. What's that, $54 million? Talk to me about it, man. Talk to me about it. Tony, let me start with you, man.
Yeah,
what do you think about
it? I'm not mad at it. I like him. He could shoot, he could create. He's a better defender than I think he gets credit for. I've been going through, a couple of highlight reels. Obviously, they all gonna be good, but it surprised me seeing some of that defense. Tough kid, and I think he'll fit in seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna be a, what do you call it, like a guy with an ego problem, a guy that's gonna expect the majority of shots or anything like that. So I think he's definitely a good piece. And I look at some of the guys we may lose, and I always try to rate it as, is it an upgrade? And I think in this sense, it should be an upgrade.
Right, should be enough. I mean, and when you talk about the guys that you may lose, if you're bringing in Evan Fournier, that means Kelly Oubre most likely is not coming. Although you did say that you thought maybe he could still come and play off the bench. I don't know. I think he's looking for a starting spot. From things that I've heard from Evan Fournier, from Kelly Oubre, he thinks he's on the cusp of maybe becoming, an all-star type of player, and I think he wants that starting spot. DeMar DeRozan, that means, most likely he's out of there. Those are the two big names from that position, who would be starters. That if Evan Fournier signed, Evan Fournier is 6'7", he can defend the shooting guard spot. He can defend the he can defend the shooting guard spot. He can defend the 3 spot. You know what I'm saying? So he can be interchangeable. Him and RJ Barrett can be interchangeable on that side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball.
My one concern would be, I think in that aspect, RJ will start getting the bulk of the better offensive guy on the other team. I mean, maybe that's good for RJ ultimately. And I think he was already kind of put in that position at times. It was a lot of times this year, I felt like, or I questioned, why is RJ guarding this guy instead of Bullock? And he had some tough matchups this past year. So I think that trend is going to continue.
Okay. Big Bubba, what's your thoughts, man? Evan Fournier.
Hey, man, we're trading one Frenchman for another Frenchman. No, I like Fournier, man. I like Fournier. The price to me is good. The years, to me, just if I'm predicting, sounds like it's going to be, guaranteed 2 years. Is most likely going to be a team option the third year. $54 million for him. Again, I'm not mad about it. He can put the ball on the floor. He can score when he's hot. He's hot. Yeah, I mean, look, for the player that are projected to be lost, I think it's an upgrade. I definitely think it's an upgrade. I think he fits along RJ and Randall. And yeah, like I said, I think it's a good upgrade for the price range that you're going to get. You could easily probably get 18 to 20 points from the guy every night. Efficient points, by the way, too. So, I'm all for it. I think this is a good move. And again, I think you can't be mad about the $54 million. 3 years. To me, that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, I couldn't be mad about the $54 million. I think he fits better than a DeMar DeRozan because he can shoot the ball from the 3-point line. DeRozan can probably facilitate better than Evan Fournier, but we need shooters on the floor. And, he's a guy that can shoot the ball. He can come off screens and knock it down. He can stand and shoot. He can have the ball in his hands and create a little bit. He can do a little bit of everything out there on the offensive side of the floor. So I think that's why the Knicks probably like him. Josh, what's your take?
Evan Fournier is someone that I wanted the Knicks to go after at the trade deadline. If you guys remember, I really thought he could have helped the team last season. And I think he can help the team moving forward this upcoming season. I'm not concerned about the money. We have it, so we might as well spend it. And I think he definitely can fit what Tom Thibodeau was trying to do. Like you guys already said, he can put the ball on the floor. He can knock the three ball down. He is a little bit small, but at the same time, I do think he can be a solid defender for us. And I think he can definitely help the team moving forward. He wasn't my first choice as far as players that I was looking for this offseason, but he definitely can come in and fill a role. And if we have the money to pay him, let's get it done.
Yeah. Now, and it surprises me as far as, the players that, you know what? The Knicks probably have spoken with a bunch of guys already. You know what I mean? Just like everybody else, I'm pretty sure they know, well, this guy is on board, this guy's not on board, or this guy's going to stay in this place or that place or go to this place or that place. So I don't think Evan Fournier was the first guy, but I think, who was it? Maybe Not said it last night. He thought Kelly Oubre was going to be the first guy to sign with the Knicks. And we'll still see, like someone said earlier, anything that you hear right now is, for the most part, rumors until it happens. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if it actually comes to fruition that Evan Fournier signs a multi-year deal with the New York Knicks. And if he does, it wouldn't be a bad move, I don't think. I think it'd be a pretty good move for the Knicks. Tony?
No, I just wanted to tell Josh that Fournier is 6'7". He's probably not as strong as maybe some of the other small forwards, but he's a pretty big dude.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, as far as like girth, he's not girthier, and he does seem like he will get pushed around a little bit. I've seen him play defense when he was in Orlando, when he was with Boston. He definitely can hold his own, but again, if he goes up against those wings who are just the 6'9", 6'10". Well, it's not too many 6'10" wings, but if he goes up against those bigger guys, you could see him getting pushed around a little bit. But at the same time, I think the pros outweigh the cons for the Knicks to make this move, and I don't have any problem with it at all.
Yeah,
but that's why I said my only concern is I think RJ is going to end up guarding those threes, those bigger threes.
See, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think that's a bad problem. I think in the long run, it's going to be a good problem to have because again, this kid's only 21. I think RJ's 21. So again, I mean, he gets this experience now guarding these guys, and to be real with you, I don't know. I was cracking up. I don't know if you've seen the 2022 projected draft people, but these kids are getting skinnier and skinnier, man. So I mean, I think it'd be good for RJ to learn to guard these big bulky guys, and then like I said, it'd be better for him in the long run.
Okay. Another report that's out there is that the New York Knicks may reach a deal with Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to probably be, part of your bench. And if the Knicks reach a deal with Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks, and they reach a deal with Evan Fournier, now you're looking at that point guard spot. They got to fill that point guard spot, right? So what was the deal, Tony? What was the deal for Alec Burks? 3 years, $30 million?
Yeah, that's
the Tony Pro deal.
The Tony Pro special.
That's what's being reported.
The Tony Pro special. And what was
Tony? I think the Knicks have been watching your YouTube video, Tony.
Hey, shout out to them, man.
They're like, that sounds good.
And what was the deal for Nerlens Noel?
I think two for 20.
2 for 20. All right, so then that's $10 million. That's $20 million spent.
38 if you
count Fournier. So now you're talking about you still got $15 million to spend, which is going to go towards a point guard. If these are the free agents that the Knicks sign. So first of all, before we even get to that, Tony, I'll start with you. Now come around, Josh, Big Bubba. What's your thoughts on Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel?
Coming back, I mean, at this point, I like it just because we're talking about less of chemistry issues coming into the season. You know what I mean? These guys have already played. We know what their value is. They know what their value is to the team. They should only get better as far as chemistry wise with the team. So I was always one of the rare ones that didn't mind running it back and making a few minor tweaks. Obviously starting point guard and just some more shooting. So I mean, I think it puts us in familiar territory, if you will. We're losing a little bit of defense with well, look, if he's gone, but we're gaining. I think we're gaining more offensively, more creation, more facilitation. RJ's gonna have to step it up defensively. That would be my take as of right now. If all those things come into fruition.
Yeah. Josh.
So I expected both Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel to get some more money. Based on the way they played last season, they definitely earned it. My thing is, as far as chemistry is concerned, just like Tony Crow mentioned, I personally would rather have Burks back instead of Bullock. I just felt like the chemistry that he built with RJ and with Randall was, second to none, to be honest. as far as guys that I would like to bring back from the last year's team to this current team. With that being said, I think Alec Burks definitely deserves to get paid. I just would rather have Bullock back instead of Alec Burks. If the Knicks can be able to find a way to make that happen instead of Burks, I would, be much more comfortable with this. But again, I think the Knicks are making these deals here to maintain flexibility. I probably expect Burks or Noel to be traded if the Knicks want to land a big fish next year, because if those two guys are going to be coming along with Evan Fournier, I don't expect the Knicks to do anything big this free agency period, which I guess it's okay. I have to live with it. But I don't have a problem bringing Burks back. I just would rather Bullock.
Okay. Do you think? I do. I agree. I thought that Reggie Bullock developed a good chemistry with R.J. Barrett and especially Julius Randle. But the thing is, if you're bringing in an Evan Fournier or a DeMar DeRozan, a starting wing, Reggie Bullock may not even be playing with RJ and Julius Randle that much. He'd probably be playing with the guys that's coming off the bench. Right? So when you look at that, now you look at that and you say, okay, well then Alec Burks was coming off the bench and maybe he developed that kind of chemistry with those guys coming off the bench. I don't know if his chemistry was that good as Reggie Bullock's was with Julius Randle, but he probably has more chemistry playing with the bench guys than Reggie Bullock does.
And I agree with you. And again, like I said, I don't have a problem with the moves that the Knicks are making. It makes sense if you put it in that context. However, I didn't want Fournier wasn't my number one option anyway. I would have went a different direction as far as going the wing route. But listen, I don't have a problem with this. If the Knicks want to do this, I feel comfortable with them making it. I think these moves, Fournier makes the team a little bit better than what they were last season. Like you said, the issue is still got to be the point guard. And we got to get the perfect point guard or the right point guard to fit with this new system with Fournier and Noel and Burks off the bench. So we'll see what happens. But I guess I'm kind of iffy about it. It's not something that I'm overly joyous about, and it's not something that I'm bashing the team about. So but we'll see what happens.
Okay, Tony.
Just to play devil's advocate, because I kind of felt like I agree with you guys originally, but when I look at it from the standpoint of the playoffs, and what Bullock wasn't able to do, and it wasn't like basically we needed him to do something out of his character. It wasn't so much of him not even playing up to his strengths. It was more so we needed creation from that position in the playoffs. And Fournier is going to give you that 100%. So I think it may be bigger of an upgrade than we're necessarily considering it at this time. I think Bullock's value for us was throughout the year, throughout the regular season. We've seen it when he wasn't on the floor, when he came back and things of that nature. But I think what we were missing in the playoffs, Fournier fills that void 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Go ahead.
I was gonna piggyback on what Tony's saying, because that's kind of where I was gonna go towards. This is all speculation, but I really do believe that the playoff series against the Hawks really influenced this free agency and seeing what we had to do and what we do. And again, me personally, I'm with you, Josh. I'd rather have Reggie Bullock over Burks. Me personally, because I just seen. We know what Burks is. Burks is a journeyman. And listen, when Burks is hot, he's pretty hot. But to me, there's been too much inconsistency with Burks. There have been games where we needed him to score and he only gave us 7 points. Then the next game, he'll give us 25, 26 points. But I do think with this free agent that you're seeing that there's not going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more guys on this team that can put the ball on the floor. I really think that's going to happen, because I think what the Knicks are doing is that they've seen that, when Randall doesn't have it, we literally didn't have nobody else besides D Rose. And I know we're going to talk about D Rose a little bit later. But, when you see that, when you bring back Burks, and you pick up like a kid like Quentin Grimes, you got Ardra, you got Randall, you got Fournier, supposedly Fournier. These are guys that are putting the ball on the floor that can do something a little more than what Burke can do, just more of a catch and shoot kind of guy. Because I know during the playoffs, we were like, we were having debates about, listen, Reggie Bullock has to take Trae Young to the post. And I think similar, a couple other people said during the series that that's not what Reggie Bullock does. He really doesn't do that. He's a catch and shoot kind of guy, face up kind of guy, not a post you guy. So especially with Burks, and then Burks can definitely do that. Fournier can do that. So I think you're going to see a lot more influence from that Hawks series when you had all these guys that they all weren't catch and shoot guys, but you had guys like Lou Williams, of course, Trae Young. You had John Collins. You had Danilo Gallinari. You had Kevin Huerter. You had the other kid too. You had all these guys that could put the ball on the floor, man, and they killed us. So I think you're going to see that a lot.
Real quick, I just want to, I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I think you guys bring up valid points. But when you mentioned the playoff series against Atlanta, I think the lack of ball handling and lack of playmaking came primarily from the point guard position rather than the three position. And I'm not saying Reggie Bullock can put the ball on the floor. That's not what I'm saying. But for me, I would rather have the Knicks, and who's to say that they're not looking for point guards right now? I'm pretty sure they are. Looking for point guards who can play make, who can put the ball on the floor. But I don't feel like your wing has to put the ball on the floor all the time or has to be able to be the person playmaking. If you got a point guard out there that can do that, plus Randall and a little bit of RJ in there, I think you'll be fine. You had a shooting specialist like a Reggie Bullock or Duncan Robinson or whoever you want to put there, and I think the team will still be fine that way as well. But either way, I mean, listen, you pick your poison. No matter which way you go, I think, you can get the playmaking from either the small forward or the point guard. And for me, I just would rather have it from the point guard position instead of the three. Yeah,
and also too, Josh, I think we all miss. I'm not saying that we're missing. I think Tony said it, or you may have said it. I think this is chess. What the Knicks are doing,
right?
I think what they're doing this year, they kind of see the free agency, and they, like Sim said, you hear the talks about who's going to be here and who's going to be there, and I really do. And I know people go like, oh, here we go again, waiting again. But I really do think they're setting up for 2023. And again, this free agency class from the beginning wasn't going to be that strong because people pretty much expected, Kawhi to stay in LA. I don't think people really knew about the Sun Jet with Chris Paul, but you had all these guys that pretty much expected to stay where they were going to stay, and maybe the mid-level guys were going to move around a little bit. But I do think that what the Knicks are doing, they're gearing up for 2023. That's why you're gonna see these deals with the Evan Fourniers and the Burks and the Noels. Because again, I wouldn't be surprised if all three of these guys have team options till last year, or maybe there's like a one-on-one. I wouldn't be surprised.
2-on-1 type of deals. Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised just because they're gearing up for 2023.
Okay. All right. Steph, what's your thoughts on? One, if the Knicks signed Evan Fournier, and first of all, welcome to the show. If the Knicks signed Evan Fournier, and then it's also been reported Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel may be coming back to the Knicks. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, first I want to say shout out to you, Sim, the panel, the chat, and Isaiah. It was nice meeting you, and I'm looking forward to meeting Josh as well at some point.
Nice meeting you, Queen.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I wouldn't listen. Let me tell you something. Listen, anybody thinking about messing with Steph? She gonna whoop you. I'm telling you right now. I wouldn't mess with her in the dark alley. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, I'm a sweetheart, but if I have to now.
Hey, listen. Steph, I let people know now. Next draft party, don't mess with Steph. I'm telling you, don't mess with her.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You know what? I can't say I'm thrilled about any of the signings. But at the same time, I do think the Knicks did their due diligence. And I just think this is the best they were able to come up with. I don't think it was a strong free agent class. I think that if there was any trades to be had, I'm pretty sure the Knicks were on the phone offering pieces for whoever was up to be traded. But I think that they kind of have a line in the sand of how much they're going to give and what they're not going to give. We may agree or disagree with it, but at least they have a plan. I don't think it's specifically holding out for 2022, but I think is if we can't get what we want, we're just going to roll it. We're going to roll it over. So I'm hoping these deals are 3 years with a team option in the second so that we can get off of them pretty quickly, or they would be an asset in a trade. I'm not even that happy about Noel coming back. I mean, I think he played okay for us, but in the playoffs, I didn't think he played great. He didn't catch the ball the way we needed him to catch the ball. He didn't rebound the way we needed him to rebound. So I'm not, for continuity's sake, if we can't get any upgrades, then I'm okay with it. But I was really hoping we would upgrade. I would have took McGee over, but listen, these guys may be going elsewhere as well.
I think McGee said if I'm not mistaken, McGee wanted to go back either to the Lakers or the Nuggets. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And Fournier, I think he'll help us. I was looking for somebody a bit more dynamic, but he's solid. He'll be able to help us. Like I said, I'm not mad, but I'm not excited just yet. Hopefully those moves are to come. Like Josh said, we still need a point guard.
And that's the thing right there. So we did just some minor quick calculations. If the Knicks did sign Evan Fournier, Alec Burks, and Nerlens Noel, they'd have about $15 million left.
That's it?
That's it. $18 million they got $53 million. So $18 million for Fournier, $10 million for Noel, $10 million for Alec Burks, if these reports are correct.
Sim, you got to also take it down a little bit, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Quentin Grimes gets like a $1 million, and let's just assume McBride gets $1 million, so you're probably down to 13.
Well, no, that's already factored in.
That's already factored.
Oh, that's already factored in.
Yeah, that's factored in.
Okay.
Right. So you have about $53 million. You're spending 38. That leaves you with 15. What point guards are going to be available at $15 million a year?
Reggie Jackson, Corey Joseph, probably less than that.
I know one that's available for $6 million.
Yeah, and I will make the trade. I would make the trade. Hold on.
That's
true.
Tony,
I swear to God, I'm saying I'm driving to New York right now.
Because Tony touched on a really good point here. If we got to make the trade for Colin Sexton, right? If Colin Sexton is the guy that we're going to go after, it's going to be a salary swap essentially, right? Probably give up a draft pick or whatever, but the salaries are going to be swapped. So if we're able to make a trade for Colin Sexton, probably Knox, then a combination of whatever. We'll still have that money. We'll still have $15 million to continue to build and add pieces. So I think that's a really good idea if you're going to make him the point guard, and it's like low risk, high reward at the end of the day. $6 million, I'll pay Colin Sexton that to average 20-some points for us and however many assists. I'll definitely take that.
I'm sure they're trying.
So with this, right? I would have to say no, because how can I put this? I wouldn't really understand the roster.
Essentially, we're bringing back the same roster minus Bullock. But
why wouldn't you understand the roster?
I'm trying to because I just don't think with Colin Sexton that's the point guard that you need to elevate these other guys.
He's a stopgap, Isaiah. He's only making $6 million for one more year.
But so my thing is this, right? So
who are you asking him to elevate?
Maximum to help RJ get easier shots, Randall get easier shots.
So
I want Mitch run a little more, run a couple more things. I want to see the guys get easier shots that we have been asking for I don't know how many years to help elevate these guys. I'm not asking for a Chris Paul level of elevation. I'm not asking for that. But I'm asking for a guy to help these guys just get better. Because again, we still haven't seen RJ with a point guard. We still haven't seen Randall with a point guard.
But yeah, he got better last season playing with Elfrid Payton. Right?
That was despite Elfrid Payton.
Okay.
That wasn't better.
That's what he was saying. Though. That's what Josh was just saying. So when you look at it, first of all, you're gonna have, if you brought in Colin Sexton, you'll have Colin Sexton who can get to the cup, which is going to collapse the defense, which is going to leave RJ and Fournier and Julius Randle open.
But does he know
on
that?
Perimeter. Does who know that?
It's Colin Sexton.
Yes, he knows that.
Come on, son. He's a gunner. That's what,
Oh,
what he,
Oh my goodness. What if we
Am I wrong?
what if we bring Rose back as well and Rose starts? Would that
well, I don't want to. I
would
mean,
that change
I wanted
your
to kind of
viewpoint?
leave. I kind of wanted to leave the Rose thing away because I know we're going to talk about him because it's kind of looking like he's not coming back. But you know,
Well, it's gonna be between the Knicks and Chicago. You know, with Derrick Rose, it's going to be between the Knicks and Chicago. You know,
Who's their coach?
We'll see.
Who's Chicago's coach?
Dude from OK, used to coach OKC, Billy Donovan.
Okay.
you know what's crazy? I
Hold
don't
on.
know why D Rose. I don't know why D Rose does this every time. He knows he's going to go back to Tom Thibodeau. They're in a toxic, healthy relationship.
But before we move on to D Rose though, Colin Sexton took 18 shot attempts last season. He took 16 shot attempts in 2019, 2020, and 14 shot attempts in 2018, 2019. But when you look at the options that were on his team, did he have any choice but to take those shot attempts? And he shoots well from the field. It's not like he doesn't shoot well from the field.
Like he's a chucker.
Mm-hmm.
So I never once said that he can't get the ball in the hoop. I never said that. It's just his style of play. I just don't think would be beneficial for the Knicks, for the player that's on this team. I don't think that.
Do you think Fournier can facilitate?
Yeah, I think Fournier can facilitate.
Do you think he facilitates better than Bullock?
Yes.
So if we're getting more facilitation from that position and more scoring from the point guard position, a lot more scoring, what's not to like? And if you think about it from this aspect, whether you want him long term or not, it's the ball's in your court.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power to restrict him, which then gives you the power to sign and trade him if he finds a better location,
Or go over the cap to sign him.
Yeah, or go over the cap to sign. You have so many more options bringing him in. I think it's a no-brainer, honestly.
I'm just not the. I mean, would I be? I'm sorry, Steph. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you go.
And with $15 million left, you could still bring in another point guard if that's what you wanted to do. So, the options is still there.
Right.
So wait, hold on. So if you bring back, so if you get Sexton, that means you're comfortable with leaving D Rose out.
If you get Sexton, you still got money to get D Rose.
D Rose not taking $6 million.
Why would he be taking $6 million? If the Knicks got $15 million left and they got to pay $6 million to Colin Sexton, and they probably will still have more money left because players will go out in that trade. So salary will also go out in that trade. They may still have $15 million left to spend. So why would you have to give D Rose $6 million?
Right.
Okay. All right.
I mean, listen, I think Isaiah's concerns are valid. I mean, we're not the only one on this panel concerned about his playmaking. I mean, the universe is split on Sexton, right? It's true. When you read Twitter, there's a lot of people split on him, say he's an undersized shooting guard. But I have the same concerns Isaiah has. However, Fournier can facilitate, Randall can facilitate, RJ can facilitate. I think because of his scoring prowess, he can play off the ball. Even if defensively he plays point guard and he brings it up sometimes, I don't think he'll be bringing it up all the time. And I think that bodes well for us. So I'm comfortable if there are other playmakers in that starting lineup who are handling the ball. I think I would be a little concerned if this was like the traditional team where the point guard is handling the ball the majority of the time and everyone else is just going up the court waiting for him to distribute. I would be more concerned. But RJ can bring it up and play make. Randall can do that. Fournier can do that. I'm not sure if I heard us link to DeRozan. If that happens, he can do that. So I'm less concerned if we have those players in the lineup. Right. But I do think, Isaiah, your concerns is legit because that was what I've been saying from the beginning.
Yeah, again, it's not that listen. I think he can score. He can. But sometimes there's a price for players that can score. And I know there's people say the reports. I'm just going on the reports about just the players and what they say about them. I just don't want that to affect the Knicks. I don't want them to come in here and we hear about the selfishness. Because, again, some people might not like it. We heard that with Alonzo Trier. There was a lot of selfishness. And I'm just saying, using him as an example, that he was a selfish player. Players didn't like playing with him because he would just mess up the offense and just go on his own. And that's one of my biggest concerns with Sexton.
Isaiah, you telling me a lineup with Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, and Colin Sexton, there's going to be some selfishness in that lineup? That's one of the most conservative lineups you can ever have. Conservative.
But I think that even if he tries to be selfish, it's not going to happen on his team. I think there's strong enough personalities on his team, a strong enough coaching staff on his team that's going to pull him aside and say, listen, this is how we play here. Right. And if you don't play this way, you're just not going to play. You're not going to get the minutes. So I'm not
and at $6
too
million,
concerned about that.
You can literally sit him and it's not a big thing. You can find a move for a trade for him as soon as you're available to trade him at $6 million.
But Tony, again, I'm not trying to get too deep into this, but
it's the time to do it.
It would be a big thing. It's New York. I'm sorry, it would be a big thing.
This is the time to get deep into
why
it,
is
man.
Colin Sexton not playing this and this?
Listen, was that a big thing with Knox? Because he essentially would be taking the place of a guy who wasn't in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So it wasn't a big thing. It's okay. I'll give you that. It wasn't a big thing with Knox. It wasn't. But okay, even for a small example of what happened at the end with overpaying, that was toxic. That was
toxic.
The end of overpaying. That was toxic.
He didn't even play.
But what's that have to do with Colin Sexton?
I'm just saying I'm using these as examples of how we say it's a small thing if he doesn't play, but then we're gonna hear reports. And then who wants to trade for a toxic player?
Look,
again,
I think this, because, you hear about, I haven't heard about him being toxic. I heard about him being stubborn, right? But you also heard about Kobe being stubborn. You heard about Michael Jordan being stubborn. A lot of your top players, you hear about them being stubborn. His want and will to win, what do they say? Is unmatched. His work ethic, a lot of people believe, is exactly what Tom Thibodeau was looking for, right? Because he believes he's the best point guard in the league. He wants to be the best point guard in the league. You know what? I want a player that wants to be that.
So, Sim, tell me this. So here's the $1 million question, which to me is one of the number one red flags. Number one red flag. If he's all these things plus a bag of chips, why are the Cavs trading him?
No, he believes that he is the best player in the league. He believes, not the best player, the best point guard in the league. He has this uncanny work ethic that a lot of people have attested to, his work ethic and his want and will to win.
What I'm saying is, Sam, if you got a guy that's giving you 25 points, who's not even 25, who's not even 20, how old is Colin Sexton, 22? 21? He's 22 years old. He's giving you 25 points, good efficiency. What franchise doesn't keep that?
Because sometimes sometimes it doesn't work with a franchise. Ben Simmons, they're looking to move Ben Simmons, right? Because sometimes it doesn't work with a franchise.
But that doesn't concern you, though, Sim?
What?
That's not a red flag. That a team like the Cavs, I looked at their tickets on StubHub. They're like $5.
Right. But what I'm saying is sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it's going to be like that at every place that he goes to. So no, it doesn't concern me because I feel like we have strong enough leadership and we have a strong enough coach.
I understand what you're saying. I just think that's a red flag where you got a kid that's 22-year-old. He's giving you 25 points on great efficiency, and the team wants to move him. I just think that's a red flag. I feel like they know something that
How do you don't know. But what if he told them that I don't want to be in Cleveland? And when I become a free agent, I'm out.
It's 6 o'clock, and the chat is saying Lonzo to the Bulls.
There we go. Already,
years,
it's starting.
85.
Lonzo to the Bulls. So 1 point guard off. 1 point guard already off the. 1 point guard off already.
And Isaiah, can I ask you, knowing that, or if these circumstances are right, and we have that 15 left, who are you pursuing, or what trade are you making that will include whomever?
Well, we can't get Lonzo no more. That was my dream, but most likely, I mean, I'm probably looking at D Rose. Probably D Rose. I'll be looking at with the 15 million, and then I'll probably roll the ball court out with McBride.
So
D Rose
starting, McBride on.
No, you know what's crazy? I might sound crazy for this, but I'd have to probably go with McBride first.
Wow. I don't think Tibbs is going to start.
He wouldn't do it, but I just think where D Rose at in his career, 25 minutes is a sweet spot. 25 minutes is a sweet spot, and hey, listen, I think McBride will make me more happy than Payton for 15 minutes. I think he'll make me happier than Payton.
Okay. So Lonzo Ball signs for a 4-year, $85 million deal.
What's that, like $22 million a year?
I think 21.5.
Yeah. 20, 21, somewhere around there. According to Shams, Boban has agreed to re-sign with the Dallas Mavericks. Free agent Mike Conley has agreed to a 3-year, $68 million deal to return to Utah. Free agent Tim Hardaway Jr. has agreed to a 4-year, $72 million deal to the Dallas Mavericks.
So he got the same deal again, like when the Knicks did?
Who did?
Was it 72?
Isn't it the same deal he got with the Knicks?
I thought it was 80-something. Was it 70? No, you're right. It was 72.
So
that's what he got for the Knicks.
No, I think it was the same thing. 4-year, 72.
Yeah, it was something like that with the Knicks, 4-year, 72, something like that.
It's not bad for Tim Hardaway, man. That's a lot of chicken in the last 8 years.
Hey, I mean, listen, Tim Hardaway played well for the Dallas Mavericks.
He did.
He played well for the Dallas Mavericks. A lot of people, want to laugh and joke about the contract that the Knicks gave him, but I think he outplayed that contract, to be honest with you. I think if he didn't outplay it, he at least lived up to it. Let's say that. Let's put it there. He at least lived up to it. You know what I mean? At least lived up to it. So, so that's 1 point guard off the board as far as Lonzo Ball is concerned. I think most people expected, the reports in recent days is that he was going to end up with the Chicago Bulls. And I don't know, what are your thoughts? Steph, I'll start with you. How do you think he fits in with the Chicago Bulls?
I think he fits in well. I think they're gonna run more, and I think that's his forte. I think he does very well in transition. I think he's more of a playmaker in transition than in the half court. So I think he's gonna fit in well, and I think him and Levine makes a good tandem, and I think that's probably part of their plan to keep Levine instead of him asking for a trade. Now, Vucevic, I'm not sure how much running they're doing with him, but I guess he could be a trailer on the fast break.
Yeah. Right. I mean, he can shoot the 3, right? So if he trails the play, you kick it back to him, and he can knock down the 3. Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball. Listen, Lonzo Ball is a guy who likes to get the ball up the floor. You know what I'm saying? He's not sitting back dribbling the ball up the floor. He's going to pass it up the floor. I think he's going to help Zach LaVine score even more points.
Yeah.
I think he will. Josh, too much for Lonzo Ball or write him out? What do you think?
Absolutely, I think that's too much. Particularly if he's going to be the starting point guard. To me, Lonzo Ball hasn't proven to me that he can be a consistent starting point guard with the ball in his hands. Running the point guard position. Now, I understand for the Bulls, they're in a little bit of a different situation. You have Levine there, you have Kobe White there, you have other guys who can handle the ball. I guess for Chicago, it makes sense. $21 million, it makes sense. But for us, I'm glad we didn't pay him that money because I feel like he's not proven to be a starting point guard in the NBA, someone that can facilitate and be on ball and have plays run plays through Lonzo Ball. So for the Bulls, I guess it makes sense. But for us, I'm glad we didn't make the move.
Okay. Some more breaking news from Shams. 5-time NBA All-Star Jimmy Butler is expected to agree to a maximum contract extension with the Miami Heat when the league year opens on August the 6th.
Kyle Lowry also signing trade with Miami.
Yep, that was expected. Who's reporting that?
Bleacher Report's reporting it.
That is
for Vince Goodwill.
It's a done deal?
It's a done deal, yes.
The Miami Heat always find a way, don't they?
I've been trying to tell y'all.
They always find a way. They always find a way. And Butler's max contract is expected to be in the 4 years in excess of $184 million. And now, they bring in Kyle Lowry, which he fits very well in Miami.
Like a glove.
Very well. I mean, I thought he would fit with the Knicks, but he fits very well in Miami.
I like the fact that they did long-term. They're doing long-term security for these guys, So
how many years he got?
Lowry, I think he's getting 3, right?
I'm still going to get the exact numbers right now. But Bleacher Report is the first one that put it out there about Kyle Lowry signing trade. So I'm curious to see who Miami is going to send back to Toronto. That could be something big as well. I know Iguodala's money's not on their books anymore. I heard reports about Precious Achiuwa going back to Toronto.
And Dragic.
So I'm just looking for the.
But I think Goran is going in the sign and trade.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And Precious
goes every single year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
We hear all these teams bang, bang, bang. Sign this guy. Sign this guy. Sign this guy. And we're waiting for the Knicks to announce that they signed Alec Burks. No hate towards Burks, but you know what I mean.
But them, this is what Knicks fans want. They want to be conservative and we don't need any big names. We don't need anybody. Well, this is what happens. You got teams like Miami in the Eastern Conference that's getting better. Chicago getting better. And I feel he will make a move. I promise you that because they got Daryl Morey as their GM. So if Knicks fans, this is what you want. If you want to remain conservative, this is what you're gonna get.
Somebody said Duncan Robinson to Toronto.
Duncan Robinson.
It would make sense because of the money. It would have to.
In a sign and trade.
It would have to make sense. He makes what, 15 or whatever, or he's commanded 15 or something like that.
So
that's what I like about your jury. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm gonna get something for my team back in this signing trade. I'm not gonna just facilitate because I like Lowry, which I'm sure he does. I'm gonna get some pieces back that work for us.
Just a little bit of New York Knicks news. According to Ian Begley, there's mutual interest between the Knicks and DeMar DeRozan. I think we've known that. And then just a little bit more, the Chicago Bulls. This is from Shams. The Chicago Bulls are sending Thomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and a second-round pick to New Orleans for Lonzo Ball. And this just in from Shams. Free agent forward JaMychal Green has agreed to a 2-year, $17 million deal to return to the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
And again, I'm not mad with DeRozan either. I would have preferred him with Lowry. But like you guys said, I mean, damn near 7 assists this past season. I think that helps us. Even if he doesn't have the 3-point shot in his arsenal, I think it gives Randall a break as far as taking over the boatload of the facilitating. Now he can be an option to pass out to, along with Fournier, along with RJ. Let DeRozan play to his strength like San Antonio did this past year, and I think it could fit seamlessly. Now, if we're trying to make him a target and Randall is facilitating, then I see those issues that a lot of guys are concerned with.
Right. Anything to take Randall off the ball. I mean, I think with Sexton, we got to keep him on, but I would prefer if we do get DeRozan for him to handle the ball.
It looks like Burke was announced.
Yeah, here we go. From Adrian Wojnarowski. Free agent guard Alec Burks has agreed to a 3-year, $30 million contract to stay with the New York Knicks. Free agent center Nerlens Noel is returning to the New York Knicks on a 3-year, $32 million contract.
So still $10 million.
Still $10 million. So the Knicks have brought back two of their bench guys. According to Shams, Jarrett Allen has agreed to a 5-year, $100 million deal to re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, that's not bad. 5 years? That's not bad. That's not bad.
So that's 5 years, $100 million deal. That's $25 million a year.
Not 20.
20. Wait a minute.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, 20.
5 and 100. That's 20.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, $20 million a year. Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's one of your longer deals.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, back in the day, like Kevin Garnett signed like a 7-year deal back in the day. You know what I mean? It's one of your longer deals.
If we bringing the game back, I guess D Rose is next.
Well, I mean, do you use up that cap space and then go over for Rose, or do you just pay him out this cap space?
Well,
depends on if Dolan wants to go over for this team.
That's what I'm saying.
And it also depends on, because are we starting Rose? You know what I mean? Or will we let him
I don't
play
think
where
it matters as long as we limit his minutes.
Well, I'm saying it matters because if we're not starting him, I say we use the cap first and then go over to pay him. If
Dolan wants to go over for this type of team. Do you want to go over the cap for this type of team?
See, I'm not going over the cap for this type of team. I'm only going over the cap for
a championship contender, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying personally. I say you find your starting point guard first. I don't know if I want Rose starting. He flourished in his role, and we did not flourish when he got promoted. You know what I mean? He didn't play any worse.
Right, but we was playing like that all season. So it could have just been, we changed it up at the end. I mean, if he's starting like that at the beginning of the season, that gives us enough time to build up chemistry. We still need to bring a point guard on this team. So I agree with that.
and listen, and when you look, man,
I'm not arguing with you.
So that's about $10 million a piece. That leaves us with $33 million left to spend.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Kyle Lowry's off the board. Lonzo's off the board. Chris Paul seems like he's signing back with Phoenix.
Conley's off the board too.
Off the board. Like, these guys are off the board. Bam, just like that. Okay. So who's left out there? Dennis Schroeder. Obviously, we talked about the Colin Sexton trade. The Knicks could trade for Colin Sexton. Who else out there?
As far as point guards?
Yeah. Got to get a point guard.
Let me pull it up.
While you're doing that, let me get you a phone call. All right. See what people think already about re-signing Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel. Call you live. What is popping? Tell me your name, where you're from.
Devontae from Baltimore.
What's going on with you, my man? How you feeling? And tell me how you feel about the Knicks re-signing Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel.
Be more.
That's good. I think if y'all get Kawhi Leonard, that'd be better, right?
I mean, we would love it if we got Kawhi Leonard. A healthy Kawhi Leonard. But as it is right now, first of all, we don't have enough money left to sign Kawhi Leonard unless there was some kind of sign and trade.
Well,
and then
what about,
he would have to, he'd be sitting for a year. So, I don't know.
So, what's up about Damian Lillard?
I mean, Damian Lillard's not on the market right now. He's not a free agent. The Knicks would have to sign. They would have to trade for him, you know?
Oh, God. So, I got a question. I heard they trade Kuzma to the Wizards.
Oh yeah.
They traded Kuzma to the Wizards?
In the Westbrook deal.
Oh, in the Westbrook deal. Yeah, that's right. Yes, in the Westbrook deal. Yep.
I love it. He went to, like, that's why we got rid of him for Westbrook. Like, I think he came to the Wizards, came to the Lakers. I need him. We need a point guard bad. So,
I mean, Kyle Kuzma's not playing point guard for you. I mean, I think right now our options are like Dennis Schroeder, maybe a trade for Colin Sexton, Reggie Jackson, Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie could end up with the Wizards.
What's going on with Melo?
I mean, Melo's probably, waiting around, seeing what's happening. I think Melo will probably be with
Banana Boat,
with LA or New York. One of the two.
Brooklyn.
Or Brooklyn. LA, New York, or Brooklyn. Yeah, one of those three teams.
So I feel he probably going to Brooklyn then if he I'm scared if he go to Brooklyn, he probably with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, D.A. Jordan, oh God, and Gerald McGee.
Yeah. He'll be with them guys over there. I know, man. Hey, my brother, I appreciate your call, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, appreciate it. Another update from Woj. Let me get to this real quick. Where did we go? All right. Kelly Olynyk has agreed to a 3-year, $37 million deal with the Detroit Pistons. According to his agent, Jeff Schwartz. And then Mike Conley, as we know, has agreed. This is Wojnarowski. Agent Wojnarowski announcing it again, has agreed to a 3-year, $72.5 million deal to stay with the Utah Jazz.
It's about 22 per.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 at 37. Oh, you talking about Conley? You talking about
Conley? Conley. Yeah. I think let me see who's on the board right now as far as names are concerned. DeMar DeRozan, Evan Fournier is still on the board.
Schroeder,
Dinwiddie's still on the board. Dinwiddie could end up. I think there's a nice spot for Spencer Dinwiddie in Washington to play alongside Bradley Beal. I think that's a nice, sweet spot for him, and he might end up there.
It has to be a sign and trade, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Dinwiddie unrestricted?
I think he's unrestricted.
Yeah.
No, do they have the money?
Yeah, because they cleared up some cap space by trading Westbrook.
Okay.
The Wizards.
Okay.
Somebody said Knicks signed Schroeder.
They signed Schroeder?
Somebody in the chat said
we will see. I mean,
will sign me.
He was a guy who I thought the Knicks were going to end up with, after looking at and seeing, we were talking about it last night, after seeing all these guys coming up the board, I really thought the Knicks were going to end up with Dennis Schroeder.
So let me ask you guys this, because the Fournier hasn't been announced yet. Would you guys prefer bringing Bullock back or getting Fournier?
Bullock.
If it'll save us some money, Bullock. If we're gonna get
It's cheaper.
Yeah. If we're actually signing Dennis Schroeder,
that's basically saying Schroeder would have been the difference maker in last season.
Which I agree with.
The difference maker? I don't know. I think we still
at the point guard spot.
I think we still would have needed some more ability to create individually.
Yeah, but that's an upgrade. I mean, I feel like Schroeder.
It's definitely an upgrade, 100%. But I'm saying that's basically we'd be running it back with Schroeder replacing Peyton. Essentially, I mean, at that point, I think we all would want Rose back still to play that same role, off the bench, spark plug. which again I'm not mad at. I think it fits. But
yeah, I was able to catch this morning. I was able to catch the show from last night. And I'm just listening to Nate talking about he doesn't believe in Dennis Schroeder and all this. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? Dennis Schroeder, young. Yeah, we're gonna have to pay over $20 million or whatever the case may be. But Dennis Schroeder is worth $20 million a year. From his skill set, he definitely is worth that. And I know he had a down year with the Lakers. They would talk. Steph, you mentioned the fit with LeBron James, but to me, Dennis Schroeder, if he plays on the right team, and I think the Knicks would be the right team for him. Listen, this team will go further than having Elfrid Payton last season, no question.
For sure, I would rather. I mean, he still has the same playmaking issues as Sexton, maybe a little better playmaker than Sexton. I don't know, but if we can get him for less than $20 million, that would be great.
If we can get Dennis Schroeder for less than $20 million, you saying?
I doubt it, but if we could, that would be great.
That would be great. I mean, depending on how much is left. I mean, maybe he'll agree to something like a $15 million. I don't know.
Because there's not a lot of teams left that need point guards that have cap space. So he may get squeezed. He may take less.
Right. Well, we will see. We will see. I mean, the guys that the Knicks have a lot of interest in are still on the board, or supposedly had a lot of interest in, is still on the board.
And I know Steph said Schroeder over Sexton. What do you guys think?
No. I didn't say that. Because I said I think he has the same issues that Sexton has as far as playmaking is concerned. He may be a little better playmaker, but you would have to take Sexton because it's cheaper, $6 million.
It's cheaper, right? Because it's cheaper. The thing with Sexton is, you got to make a trade work.
Yeah, Cleveland has to agree to it.
Yeah. And I don't think the Knicks will have a problem getting the trade done, really, to be honest with you.
And then my last question, would you if Sexton was coming in and playing Derrick Rose's role and we had Schroeder at the starting point guard, what would be your thoughts on that?
That would be great.
Yeah.
For me, that would combine that with the moves the Knicks have already made as far as, Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks. Yeah, I would like that a lot. But then you have with Fournier. Well, Fournier hasn't been signed yet, but then you have an opening after 3. This is exactly why I wasn't so keen on bringing back Alec Burks. I mean, I get it. I get that he earned his money and everything like that. But for me, I feel like it was just better fish out there for us to go back and to go get, including Reggie Bullock.
So do you think Colin Sexton would be okay with coming off the bench behind
he would
Dennis
have
Schroeder?
to be.
I mean, I don't think he has those issues that Isaiah was referring to.
Right.
So that being said, I think he'll be okay. It'll probably put another chip on his shoulder, which is fine by me. Come in and play even better, and try to fight for that starting spot, because ultimately the starter is going to be the guy who deserves it with this team, regardless of who's getting paid what amount of money,
right?
And who was drafted where, and whatever the case. Tibbs is going to start who he feels gives them the best chance or fits his rotation the best.
Right.
So we've seen it obviously all year last year. So
yeah. Just one quick update before I get to this phone call. According to Shams, the NBA has set salary cap for 2021 for the 2021 and 2022 season, effective for the August free agency. It's $112.4 million is the cap, and then $136.6 million is the tax line. Okay, so
how does is that what we projected?
I think we had 112, right? We was working with 112.
We were working with like 112. Yeah. Let me get to a phone call here. All right, caller, you're live. Tell me your name. Where you from?
Yo, what up, son? It's Mark.
Mark, what's going on with you, my man? How you feeling? Where you been, bro?
I'm out All right, man. I just had to call and do my thing. What up, man?
What's up with you, man? What we doing in free agency? Tell me what's happening. I mean, right now we know we brought back Alec Burks, we brought back Nerlens Noel. What we doing next?
We bought we brought back Burks on.
10 and 10. Everybody 10.
Yeah, 3 years, $30 million.
Not bad because, like I said, we in a 2-year, building, so that makes sense. I mean, is Derrick Rose coming back?
We don't know yet. Sounds like Derrick Rose in Chicago, hometown kid. He might be on his way back to Chicago, it sounds like.
Ain't nothing better than home, I guess.
So
ain't nothing better than home.
So what we doing? Evan Fournier?
Right.
Is he going to be a Knick? Is it going to be Evan Fournier?
That's your question.
It's going to be DeMar DeRozan.
He's getting out of hand.
What'd you say?
How much is he
18.
asking for? Because he's getting out of hand.
Who, Evan Fournier?
Yeah.
The report is that he and the Knicks have been discussing the contract worth $18 million a year.
So my question is, right? Wasn't he supposed to resign with Boston? So what was Boston giving him now that he's talking with the Knicks?
I don't know.
That's why he's leaving Boston, because Boston didn't want to match his asking price.
Right.
18. How many years he asked for? Depending on the years, because
3 years.
he's an okay player.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
A two and an out? The last one better be a player option.
Don't know.
I hope so.
Don't know. I would hope. I would
option,
think. I would hope so as well.
Cause, like I said, it's a 2-year rebuilding with this team, and you do want to add some talent. He's talented, but I wonder what Boston was giving. Because what Boston was giving, I'd probably give it what Boston was giving. Because any team like that that traded players to give him a certain deal, 18 is like.
I thought Boston was offering more, or he was asking for more from Boston. He was asking for 20 from Boston.
Now, listen, a lot of things have come out, saying that Evan Fournier always wanted to play for the Knicks and stuff like that. But it seems like that with every player when they hit free agency, right? That, something comes out saying that they wanted to play for the Knicks. They've always wanted to do this, that, and the third.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that because he know that Knicks got the money and he could get it. No, I don't want to hear that. No, he ain't fooling me. You ain't fooling me, man. Listen, I'd rather sign DeRozan because we could get the bang for the buck. Because like I said, I think he's way more. He produced way more than Fournier. He's more consistent than Fournier. And like I said, Knicks could toss some money because, like I said, we ain't really doing anything. So I would give DeRozan 2 years. 2 years, 22 to 25 per. Because like I said, he put up 25, 4, and 6 rebounds, and that's someone we need that can get a shot anytime. I'd rather pay that than get Fournier, tell you the truth.
Okay, all right.
But Fournier is not really a consistent 2 guard that we need. I'm sorry.
What about Kelly Oubre? How do you feel about him?
All right, I watch Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre is an inconsistent wing, right? He thinks he's better than what he thinks he is. I think he's a good rotational player, me personally. He's not a knockdown shooter. He's okay. It depends on how much he asks for. He's looking for 20 plus. Mm-hmm. I'm not giving you that. And I think he's looking for more years. I'm not giving you that. I'm sorry. Sometimes these players think they're worth more. Like Spencer Dinwiddie, where is he getting 25 plus year coming off an injury?
But here's the thing.
Him that?
But I don't know. Hopefully not the Knicks. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everything is always based on what the market says, right? So you look at right now, Lonzo Ball. He got $22 million a year or whatever it is. Kelly Oubre might look and say, I got similar production on a team that made the playoffs. I want the same. Right? So somebody always gets signed, and then that kind of sets the bar for everybody else. So when you look at Lonzo Ball, was basically the first guy signed out the gate. That kind of sets the bar for everybody else as far as how much money they're going to get. Now, I'm sure teams have been negotiating and stuff like that. And still, what Lonzo Ball or whoever else, got signed, what their salaries are in this next contract gets out to everyone. So then people are like, well, now here's my bar, right? I'm just as good as Lonzo Ball, or I'm just as good as this guy or that guy. You know what I mean? So I want the same amount of money or whatever.
Listen, we bringing Bullock back too?
No. Well, at least that hasn't been reported.
Okay, because we still have his cap, right?
That's true. We do.
We still have him and Derrick Rose cap, and I think that's $15 million between those two. So I think they're waiting to see who's going to offer them this, because they said Bullock had 3 teams looking at him. Because I said, he did set the tone defensively for us last year, even though he's was inconsistent shooting, but he did bring things defensively, how he set the tone for us at times, because when we didn't have him, it showed in games sometimes. And you can still pay him vet minimums for what he does. It's okay. But now the point guard issue, right? Because I like what the Knicks did in the draft. I think the Knicks did so great because the players they want, they couldn't get it. And I'm glad they didn't force the issue. So I like what they did with getting the value they got at the draft, because I think if those kids pan out, I think those kids have potential, especially the Grimes kid. He can shoot it. I think he's going to be a consistent shooter for us. And that depends on what point guard we get to facilitate for us. That's going to be the issue. Who's the point guard we're going to, pay? Because they think Schroeder, he thinks he's a $100 million player, so I guess he's looking for 20 plus. I really don't want to give it to him because he's not. He's probably looking for years. Who else is another point guard there? Kyle Lowry went to Miami, so that's a done deal. Who else is out there? Because I think we need to shore up on his guard spot.
Dennis Schroeder, Reggie Jackson,
Dinwiddie.
Nah. See that? I know everybody getting hyped what Reggie Jackson did for the Lakers, for the Clippers. I think what he did for the Clippers, it's because he's playing with other guys. You don't want a guy like that to be someone you got to count on consistently. No, because when he left OKC to do that in Detroit, what happened to his career? Everybody saying he was bad, la 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 la. He went to the Clippers. He's in a good scenario for the Clippers. I don't want to bring him here, and then he don't end up doing what
Dennis Schroeder.
He so-called did it in a small. Huh?
Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, because I said that last year. Wouldn't you mind bringing Dennis Schroeder? I wouldn't mind. Honestly, I wouldn't mind. Okay. I really wouldn't mind, because he's a defensive-minded guard. He can make some plays.
Okay. I mean, we may end up with Dennis Schroeder. That may be the guy, and I'm okay with it as long as it's at the right contract.
Yeah. Personally, if we can land DeRozan and Schroeder, I'm fine, because think I like what they did in the draft. The 3 kids they got, especially the big man. Listen, I think I think he needs to play next year if he can. I can't wait to see some of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that is a big dude. But when I watch him, his defense awareness and his movement on the floor, his footwork, he has offensive potential. His footwork it could be good if he works on it, but his defense and his recovery time, it is excellent for a big guy like that. And he's a big guy. He looks bigger than Mitch.
Yeah.
So I like what Knicks did with the point guard he did. He reminded me of Kyle Lowry in some ways when he put it together. And the Grimes kid, I think he could shoot it. We just got to get a point guard that can get the kid the ball. He reminded me of Danny Green. It could be Danny Green in that case. I like what the Knicks did.
All right.
Especially they got value. They got value because remember the two lottery picks, they don't really have to pay that much.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Mark, man, glad to hear from you, my brother. And we're gonna get you back up here on the panel soon enough, man.
All right, no doubt. I'll come on the next show.
All right. Appreciate you, my bro. Appreciate you.
All right, no doubt.
A couple of updates out here. T.J. McConnell has agreed to a 4-year, $35.2 million deal to stay with the Pacers. Free agent guard, according to Chris Haynes, free agent guard Cameron Payne has agreed with the Phoenix Suns to a 3-year, $19 million deal. Would you all have taken Cameron Payne for that price?
3 year, 19. I
And
think
that's
so.
$6 million a year, $6.5 million a year, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think for you, if he was coming to the Knicks, he may have wanted more. I think right now it's kind of like, hey, let's try to re-up this and see if we can win one in Phoenix.
Right.
You know, according to Ian Begley, the 3-year agreement with the Knicks for Alec Burks is fully guaranteed. All 3 years, fully guaranteed. So he's here for the long term. Well, I don't want to say long term, but
Who's that?
Alec Burks.
Burks.
Fully guaranteed.
Somebody in the chat keeps saying Burke is gonna end up playing point for us.
He might. Hey, it wouldn't be pretty. I'm sorry. Alec Burks, and then you got Evan Fournier, shooting guard or shooting guard / small forward. RJ Barrett at the wing, and then Julius Randle.
I'd rather put
and
Fournier
Mitch.
at the point.
That wouldn't be pretty, man. That wouldn't.
Sim, did you hear DeRozan to the Pelicans 2 years, 57?
I did not see that, but is that what it is? 2 years, 57
DeRozan.
million? What's that?
Yep.
23.
28.
28 a year.
Yeah, it's 28. Yep.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
28.5.
Wow.
I mean, people gonna be mad at the Knicks for not making moves, but are you paying DeRozan $28 million?
I mean, I was.
Who announced it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I believe it was Shams.
Because
Andy said fake.
I don't see it. It might have been fake because I got Shams' Twitter up right now looking at it, and I don't see it. That might have been
I got
fake.
Woj up, and I don't see it either.
Yeah, that might, you
Okay,
gotta
never
watch
mind.
it. There's a
You
lot
gotta
of
say that.
there's a lot of people sending out fake stuff, so you gotta watch it. You know, you gotta watch it. A lot of people sending out fake stuff. So no, DeMar DeRozan ain't going to the Pelicans because that would have seemed like kind of a weird fit
Yeah.
if that happened. That would have been a weird fit. So don't mind that. That's a fake one. You know, they got Josh's neck
Sorry.
on that one. Got your neck on that one. Let me get to another phone call here. Call you live. What's popping? Tell me your name, where you're from.
This is John Mark from South Florida, man.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
How am I feeling? Not well, based on what I'm seeing right now. I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. If we created all this cap space to just re-sign Nerlens Noel
Preach, brother.
and re-sign Alec Burke and possibly sign Dennis Schroeder, this team potentially is going to get knocked out in the first one again if there are no other major moves made. And if this is what is going to happen going forward, Tibbs won't be here in 2 years. He won't be here because if he's going to get knocked out of the first round pretty much every year with a team like this, unless there's something else that is potentially in the works, this ain't it. This is not it.
I hear you.
I am extremely disappointed with.
Well, the Knicks
He shows
still.
action.
I mean, the Knicks still have $37 million or whatever it is left to spend. Hasn't been spent yet. All right, so let's see what happens, and let's see what they do with that $37 million. Listen, we know we need a starting point guard and a starting wing. That's what we know we need right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you may need another center. I don't know. I mean, well, I guess they got Jericho Sims to be that third center off the bench. You got Nerlens Noel to back up Mitch, right? Assuming that Mitchell Robinson is your starter, so you're rocking with those two. Now it's the point guard and the wing positions that we're waiting for.
Sam, this is bad. This is
I mean,
really bad.
but wait a minute though. If Burks and Nerlens Noel are part of your bench, you don't think they're good bench players?
Need something with a bang, man. You know, seeing
I
Lonzo
mean,
Ball go
yeah.
to Chicago for 4 years, 85. I would have rather done that.
But I mean, but what I'm saying is, like, okay, so they signed a couple of bench guys. Are you okay with them two guys being two bench players for you?
Yeah, but who's potentially going to be our starting three?
Well, I mean, we still got some time to sign some players. There's still DeRozan out there. Evan Fournier is out there still. Kelly Oubre is still out there.
Evan Fournier. Ugh. Okay. I guess.
I mean, but who else was on the market? When you're talking about that wing position, there really wasn't any other wings on the market. So where else was the money going to go? The only other wing on the market was Kawhi Leonard. He's probably going to re-up with the Clippers, as far as I'm concerned.
You want to keep it a buck? I'd rather keep the cap space and wait until next year. Then sign Evan Fournier.
You gotta spend the money.
I mean,
I'm not someone who is overly emotional when it comes to basketball, but this, after saving all
There's
that
only
cap
6
space,
players on the roster, so you have to sign somebody.
I'm sorry?
There's only 6 players on the roster, so they can't just roll the money into next year. They have to sign someone.
No, I don't expect them to not sign some people. Alec Burke, yes. Nerlens Noel, he could have left for all I care, if I'm being honest. That just sounds like Tom Thibodeau wants to run it back. And like I said, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. But it's going to be his head on the chopping board in 2 years. Just keep it in a buck.
We'll see. Hey, you know what? You could be right. I don't know. You could be right. Let's see what point guard and wings we bring in. I guess we got to see that.
Well, to be fair, I don't expect Tom Thibodeau to finish out his 5-year contract anyway. Okay. He's a table setter. I don't expect him to finish his 5 years.
Okay.
I think he's going to be out of here after year 3. And maybe, what's the name of that assistant coach, Johnny Bryant? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Johnny Bryant, yeah.
He might end up taking over. I don't foresee Tibbs staying here.
Okay.
This is going to be a team that overperforms in the regular season and flames out in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens, my man. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your call, bro.
Same here, man.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Peace.
I mean, can I say something, Sam?
Yeah.
I think the fans are acting like the Knicks are not. The fans are acting like there's these high-level free agents out there, and the Knicks are just letting them pass. They're not out there. I mean, Lowry decided. Now, if we want to talk about anything, let's talk about the fact that Lowry, who's a free agent, didn't even look the Knicks' way. Let's talk about that. But this is not a big free agent class. So who are we expect? Are we upset that the Knicks didn't give Lonzo Ball $84 million? Are we upset over that?
So Steph, I don't think it's that. For me, and I kind of can understand the frustration because listen, I want the Knicks to go get a big fish. And if it's not there, it's not there. But my thing is you save up all of this cap space. You make all of these moves in the past, previously, to get to this point right now. And it kind of seems like the Knicks are doing the same thing year after year.
But but you double speaking, Josh. You're saying that you understand the guys are not there. We saving up all this money to get to this point, and we're not doing anything because the guys are not there.
But they are there, though, Seth. But hold on.
Who's there?
But so now everyone's off the board. You want to say that no one's there? People are there.
Who was on the board that you think the Knicks should have spent their money on?
Listen, DeRozan is still on the board. So I personally, if DeRozan is still out there, and we don't know what's going to happen with DeRozan yet, I will pay my money to DeMar DeRozan. He's someone that I will spend the money on, right? Okay. Kyle Lowry, who knows what Kyle Lowry wanted to do if he wants to go to Miami the entire time? No one knows that. But if there's players out there, it's just that sometimes a lot of Knicks fans have this cold feet. We don't want anybody.
But it's not even about the Knicks fans. Even if the Knicks fans have cold feet, the Knicks office is the one that's making these moves or not making these moves.
But what's the point of saving up the cap space for then? That's what I'm trying to say.
But what I'm trying to say, there's nobody there, Josh. Like if you told me that there was guys out there that signed for $60 million and the Knicks didn't want to give up $60 million and the guy was worth $60 million because they want to hold it, then I get it. But
they've been doing that the past couple. They've been doing that the past couple seasons, though. Seth.
I understand.
That's what I'm talking about.
But this summer, right here with this regime, I don't think that's the case. I think they're being smart. I think that DeRozan is still out there. There's still a possibility, but these guys came flying off the board. You don't think the Knicks did their homework and knew already that Lowry didn't want to come here? You don't think they did their homework already and knew that Ball was going to sign in Chicago? They knew that already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to give this Knicks front office the benefit of the doubt. I'm not criticizing this Knicks front office. That's not what I was trying to say. What I am saying is, based on what the Knicks have done the past couple of seasons, you save up all of this cap space, and during the season, you don't want to make any trades or make anything to impact, you want to save money. What are we saving the money for? Now, I get what you're saying. Maybe there's not guys out there in the free agent market that we can go after, but we definitely could have made trades.
Free agent market.
Well, it's weak, but at the same time, I still feel like bringing back the same players. I mean,
so you want to give Oubre $20 million? I don't want to give Oubre $20 million.
But to me, bringing Oubre in for $20 million is better than having Nerlens and welcome off the bench at $10 million.
I don't think so.
$10 million for a guy off the bench that can't score.
Well, I'm not big on the Noel signing myself, but I'm not paying Oubre, who's shooting like 30-something. He's an inconsistent player. I just don't think if the guys that you want are not there, you cannot tie up your money in these 5-year, 4-year deals at $20 million so that when somebody does shake free, what are you going to be able to do? You're not going to be able to do anything. I don't think this is the same on Knicks. I think the Knicks are biding their time and they're waiting for the players they want.
We've been doing that the past couple seasons now. To me, just saving up all this money, all this cap space, for me is a moot point if you're not going to use it. You know what I'm saying? Last year, the Knicks had all this cap space. They had so much cap space, they couldn't even spend it all. You know what I mean? Like,
but you got to get who you want, Josh.
I get that. And I'm saying the Knicks, let them continue. There's still a lot to be seen today and throughout the week. But at the same time, just the mentality, like what exactly are the Knicks doing? We don't know. We have all this cap space. We're pushing it down the line. At some point, you got to swing it back.
That's what you do until you find the players you want. That's what you do.
Can I say this? One of the good things about bringing these guys back on a little bit more salary, $10 million salaries, it makes it easier to include these guys in the trade for a big fish if that trade becomes available. Now, instead of us worrying about trying to give up 4 or 5 players to match up a salary, we can combine 2 and 3 and absorb some money, or 2 and 3 and that flexibility you get, you can still use 2 or 3 of these guys and put them in the trade for a max guy. So that's one positive.
Yeah, Tony, I just wanted to say too, right? And just Josh, I'm not trying to come for your point, but look, right? You got players like Duncan Robinson, who just got 5-year, $90 million. That's absurd. And then now breaking, Chris Paul got $120 million for 4 years. Did you really want to pay these guys that kind of money?
Yeah, but Isaiah, you're the same person that complains that the Knicks don't have any talent. And we play teams like Miami that has Duncan Robinson that gets to the finals, or Chris Paul that gets to the NBA finals. That's my point. We want to complain and talk about the money. Do we really want to pay this amount of money to these players? These players are winning.
But okay, let's say
he's 36. He's going to be 40 at the end of the I think we got.
He just went to the NBA finals, Steph.
Okay, but that's going to be going the next 3 years.
Josh, and now you
didn't think that the year prior either.
But Josh, hold on, Josh. You're not using. We're not going to get down to why the Suns went to the NBA finals. We're not going to go down that road. I think we all pretty know why they went to the finals. But you got players like Duncan Robinson who didn't show up. They got swept. They got swept by the Bucks, and now they paid him $9 million.
Okay, so we're back to the same argument again. Just because a player is on a team that he's a role player on a team that doesn't do well in an NBA playoff series, we don't want him. We don't need anybody now.
No.
Come on. I'm going by what Isaiah said. Yet during the whole course of the season, the Knicks don't have any talent. At what point we've been doing the same thing for 3 years now, saving 75, 60, now $50 million every season for what? To bring back the same guys from the previous team and then complain when the team doesn't have any talent?
Hold on. 1 second, Isaiah. 1 second. But let's say you're trying to get players, and the players like, I'm going to Miami. I'm going here. I'm going there. I think I like what you guys are doing, but I want to try my chances here. Do you just throw the money on a guy, throw the money away on a guy just so that you can, hold up, just so it looks like you did something? Or do you say, you know what? Let's take these short deals and try again in free agency next year.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But you can make trades, and you can use the cap space on trades. During the course of the season, the Knicks were I don't want to trade anybody. I want to keep the camaraderie. This is what everyone was saying. You want to keep everybody together and save all this cap space for the free agent class of 2010. Save the money for the free agent class of 2014.
Hold up. But there's a difference between those years and this year. There's a big difference.
It's the same mentality, though.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It can look the same, but not be the same mentality. The results can be the same, but the mentality can be different. The Knicks are trying. I'm not paying Duncan Robinson $90 million. I'm not paying Chris Paul $140 million. I mean, come on. He's 36. I mean,
he just went to the NBA Finals.
Okay.
But that don't mean he's going to the finals with the Knicks.
And it doesn't mean he won't either.
But what I'm saying is he went to the finals with them, and Phoenix has to pay him that money because they gotta try to go to the NBA Finals again. So they gotta pay him that money.
Hold on,
right?
That wasn't their mentality last season when they picked him up. They didn't know they were going to the NBA Finals last season. The year prior to that, they didn't even make the playoffs.
Right. And they wouldn't have paid him this contract last season either.
Exactly.
But they did.
No, they didn't.
No. They traded and they bought his contract on the books.
Right. They traded and they knew that after next season, he would have been, if it didn't work, he would have been off.
My point is they made a trade and they used their cap space to make a trade to get better. That's my point.
Josh.
And they got them to the NBA Finals. That's what I'm saying.
Josh, we can still do that. That's not out of the question. We can still make a trade.
It is, right?
Right. It's not even an hour into free agency.
Just relax. You agree? You agree with the gentleman's animosity, but this, or his frustration. But now you just took it apart. You took the whole.
Right. Okay. So I guess for me, just like a lot of Knicks fans, right? Some of the Knicks fans out there, right? The Knicks have been doing this. To me, it's the same story over and over again. And they've been doing. That's why I'm a little frustrated about it, because if it wasn't the same thing, they've been doing the same thing for the past couple of years. Them Morris, the Bobby Portis signing, it's the same thing.
And clearly,
these guys are not. What are you gonna do? Tie somebody up and make them come to the Knicks and sign a contract? Like, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But Josh, we would have been able to sign Duncan Robinson away from Miami.
Right. And Josh, look. When you mentioned 2010, you mentioned 2014. Those years, the Knicks weren't good the year before. Right? So they try to put all their eggs in the basket to go get LeBron James. They weren't saving their money. They weren't trying. And when they didn't get LeBron James, they still spent their money on a big free agent. So they did not do the same thing. And then they went and got Carmelo Anthony in 2011. They did not do the same thing in 2010. They did something totally different. Totally different in 2010.
Hey, Josh.
When you look at
Josh, can I ask you a question, Josh?
Whoa. Hold up.
My bad, sir. My bad.
Come here, and then you look at now, they're coming off a season where they were successful. Well, I would argue they made the right move by not messing up their chemistry. And so they're bringing back guys that's going to continue to grow that chemistry and then hopefully add some more pieces in.
Yes.
Like that's building. That is building and growing.
It all sounds good to me. Knicks been building for the past 10 years.
They haven't been building for the last 10 years.
I just want
We're talking abstractly too. We're not talking in actual facts. This player was there. The Knicks could have signed him. They didn't sign him. That's the same on Knicks. We're talking abstract. Oh, they have the same cap space. They didn't sign anybody, but we can't get specific about, well, who did they not sign?
We don't know. I'm not accusing them of not attempting to go out and sign someone. But for me, I just feel like when you have all this cap space and for one reason or another, you can't be able to use it, or, to me, it just...
But Josh, tell me this, Josh, because Sim made a great point. In 2010, when we didn't get LeBron, because that's what I remember being younger, watching those games from 2008 to 2010. I remember when we traded Zach Randolph. I remember when we traded Jamal Crawford. I remember when we traded all these dudes. They cleared the cap space for LeBron. We sucked for those 2 years. Really, really bad. We sucked. What happened after that when we had the cap space and we didn't get our plan A?
We signed Amari Stoudemire. We signed Amari Stoudemire. Hold on.
How did that work out? How did it work
I'm telling you. Let me tell you. We signed Amari Stoudemire, and the year after we made a trade to go get Carmelo Anthony, and then the team became way better, and we won 54 games, and we were able to get to that next level. Whatever happened after that?
We won 50 games. We won 50 games once. And please, and be honest, Josh, did Amari Stoudemire live up to his contract?
No, he didn't. But so we're gonna use that excuse to bring players in now.
So we poured $100 million into a player that couldn't even match his contract.
Well,
what does that mean?
Well, let me get to Tony. I will say this. We signed Amari, we traded for Carmelo, we got better, we made the playoffs 3-4 seasons in a row. I think it was largely our management who made faulty moves after we traded for Carmelo Anthony. So,
yes.
I do believe with that. Let me get to Tony. I want to make a couple of free agent announcements, and then we got to move on over to Knicks and Bruises, ladies and gentlemen. And when we move over to Knicks and Bruises, it's going to take you right to Knicks and Bruises. And we'll continue the conversation with Tony Crow as the host.
Sure.
Go ahead, Tony.
I just wanted to point out, or it was really a question. I think if the Knicks would have won the first round series or first and second round series, I think everybody would have been okay with saying, all right, let's bring these guys back. Let's run it back. So I just wanted to ask that is if that was the case, because I don't think none of these signings are bad contracts. You know what I mean? You could argue that these guys deserve the pay raise that they got from us right now, and we just came from making the playoffs. So these are not bad acquisitions. Bringing these guys back, it's going to keep some of the chemistry from last year, which was one of the biggest concerns I had. Only having 6 players, if we were replacing everybody, it's going to be a whole new development of chemistry that we had to go through. Right. So I like bringing these guys back. They're not bad deals. They're not, they're relatively short-term deals. And I feel like all of these guys are tradable assets that cover a decent amount of money to use towards salary cap going out.
Yeah, so Tony,
I think it was too much for Noel, though. I wouldn't have brought Noel back. I wouldn't have brought him back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think you got $32 million. I think 3 years, 32.
Yeah.
I think he deserved a pay increase,
but not from us, though.
Simply because we wouldn't have been in the playoffs without him.
But not from us. But how did he perform in the playoffs?
I agree, but are we going to make that argument for Randall as well? Are we going to make that?
Yes, that's the argument I'm making for Randall as well. I'm not paying Randall another dime until he performs in the playoffs.
I know, but you're also not saying you want to get rid of him.
But Randall is an all-NBA player. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Noel is not.
I don't know. I just say we would have been nowhere near the playoffs without him. When Mitch went down, this man stepped up and held the fort down. For the most part, he did. But listen, we got to look at the whole stretch. There were times when he was on fire and he was a defensive demon, and we was like, wow, we don't even need Mitch. And then there came a time as the season went down, came to the end, we was like, yeah, we're going to need Mitch. Noel is not the replacement. Yeah, I'm not going to punish these guys for a bad playoff series, especially. I mean, granted, he's one of the guys who had some experience in the playoffs, but overall, I think season was a success. We needed each and every one of those guys to get to where we got. I'm not mad running it back, and again, it would have been hard to run it back and give them the same deals they got last year. But you guys probably could. Y'all see me in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Head out.
We got. I was going to answer your question, brother, but you.
All right, go ahead. I'll listen.
I was trying to answer your question. No, I was going to say, to answer your question, the Steph question, I do think with Noel, I mean, I'm not mad about the Noel contract because, again, right, you got him for $5 million last year, and everybody in the whole league knew that was absolute steal. So he's getting double what he made. I thought he was going to get a little bit more in the open market, but clearly the open market wasn't responding to him like that. And again, you bring him back, you're paying him $10.5 million to be a backup, which I think that's really his role. And hopefully Mitchell Robinson's good this year. And I think what people are missing is that if we want to build a culture, if we want free agents to come here, because that's the point that we all want our free agents to willingly come here, not doing a sign and trade or nothing like that. You have to have a core, you have to have a culture, and you got to have repeat success. You have to keep that. So if we lost some of these guys, right, we didn't do what we did. I'm not saying you got to be the fourth seed, but we got to continue making the playoffs and everything like that. So we have to keep showing this consistency of being a good team. Because again, we want these guys to come here. You can't have these guys come here and be like, oh, well, that was just a fluke. 2021 was just a fluke. Or you know what I'm saying? Everything just went right for them. No, you got to have some consistency so that these guys do want to come here. So you do need to bring some of these guys back. And that's how you build your core and your culture when the guys will come here, that they know what's their role, what they're going to be. And that's how those are how the successful franchises keep getting free agents. That's why the Miami Heat will keep getting the guys coming down there. And don't get me wrong, Miami, it's nice.
You know
okay,
what, Big Bubba, you making us late, man. You're making us late.
Oh,
you're making us late. You're making us late. You're going on for 20 minutes and you're making us late. Tony, I know you got to run.
5 minutes.
I know you got to run. Yeah. All right.
I'll send you guys up the link. I'll be here in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's time.
And we're going to see you over there on Knicks and Bruises in just a second. Let me get to a couple of super chats here, and then we'll head on over there. Tree City Gaming. I didn't get a chance to get to Tree City Gaming last night. He said, if we get any big name star that's top tier in the NBA, New York will be pandemonium. That's true, but I don't know if it's going to happen this offseason. John Perez, he said trade for Murray from the Spurs or Miles Turner. We'll see. Hopefully the Knicks got something in the books to try to bring in more talent here. We'll see what happens. Will H. Official said, what about Ricky Rubio? Didn't something happen with Ricky Rubio just not too long ago?
Oh, well, he just got traded.
Yeah, he just got traded. Right.
I think he's to the Cavs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think it's to the Cavs. I think he's going to Cleveland. Will H. Official said Grimes is Allen Houston 2.0 with defense. Watch. I actually think Grimes is going to be a good player for us. Me and Andy going to break it down on the coach's corner tomorrow. 1975 Jan Rock said, I'd rather pay McGee or Howard $5 million a year than pay Noel. Yeah, you could be right about that. 1975 Jan Rock also said, would rather have traded for Lonzo during the season. Well, Lonzo's in Chicago now, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't have to worry about that. You heard Big Bubba announce it a little bit earlier. Chris Paul has agreed to stay on a 4-year deal that could be worth as much as $120 million. Free agent Torrey Craig has agreed to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Indiana Pacers. Doug McDermott has agreed to a 3-year, $42 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, wow, really? Wow.
So there we go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we got a lineup of shows for you. We're going over the Knicks and Bruises for the next hour, and then we're going to be moving right into the Queen's Court. All right? And you could be able to just pop right from one thing to the next thing, and then after the Queen's Court, we're going to have a wrap-up for the night. All right? So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot happening. As soon as I log off of here, the link is going to send you right to Knicks and Bruises. And we're jumping over to Knicks and Bruises, where Tony's going to host the show from there, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. And go on over to Knicks and Bruises, ladies and gentlemen. We're out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.